What's going on, champs and champions? It's FireMonkey here, and the final teaser video for the Chapter 3 finale, the Fractured live event, has officially released. So in today's YouTube video, we'll be watching it through the in-game newsfeed because they've added it right here, and then we'll be going over to my Twitter to talk about some screenshots and stuff that I took from little frames and snippets of this little teaser trailer that kind of show us what might be happening during the live event, and then we're just going to speculate about it because obviously we don't really know what's actually going to go down here. We just have a lot of stuff to kind of talk about. So let's go ahead and go over here to the newsfeed and click watch video. Now I'm going to talk during this, and I do want to point out one thing halfway through because I didn't take a screenshot for it, but let's go ahead and roll it. So as you can see, it starts off just kind of showing paradise, right? It shows the normal thing, and then it starts doing some weirdness here, right? It goes through some older cinematics. It's going through some of the old stuff we've seen, and right there for a split second, I don't know if you saw it, but I'll play the trailer again right now. We saw the Cube Queen, well, not the Cube Queen, but we saw the Herald, the main protagonist, the main boss of the season, right there in the middle of the tornado, and they were like walking towards us on what looked to be the reality tree. You can see right there they were coming towards us, and then that moment right there we see all the branches and stuff is what makes me think of the reality tree. But it is a super hype trailer, right? It is something that is super small. There's no dialogue or anything. There's nothing really to tell you what's going on here, but it shows some older stuff going on, and it really starts teasing and hyping up what's happening during this live event. So I'm going to quickly pause here to take another screenshot for this video because I just realized something I want to talk about more in depth, and then we'll go ahead and talk about all the different frames that I thought were very important, which some of them only showed up for a very small amount of time. Alright, so here we are over on my Twitter page, which is actually my personal Twitter right here, and I had posted a few screenshots here of some things I noticed from the trailer and everything that I thought were very important, and this one right here was one of them. Now, the reason why this is so important, right, because if you look at it, it's just like, okay, we got fracture, which is not really the word fracture, but of course it's just how the words were fracturing over time. We have a tornado, and then we have chrome kind of gooping down. But what's very important about this, and what has drawn my attention to this specific frame that didn't even show up that long in the trailer at all, was the fact that this chrome looks very high detailed, right? It's almost like this is a rendered pre-recorded cinematic and everything for the live event, right? There's no way this is something that they just made for that mini trailer and only wanted it to be seen for like half a second, if even that. This 100% is something that I think is going to play a big role during the live event, and when we get an animation or something on it, I think we might be seeing chrome continuing to cover the island, and I think that might be what this is kind of signifying here. I think this might be hinting at the entire island potentially getting affected by the chrome, and maybe the chrome is being caused by these tornadoes, right? Maybe the reason the chrome has been spreading so much on the island is because of those chrome tornadoes in game, and maybe that's what's going on here. But it is something that is, of course, you know, still in the mysterious land that we don't know too much about, which I just thought was very interesting. And now we have some more screenshots here, but I actually want to go to this one first because it's something that we actually just talked about, and I thought it was something that's very important. So, you know, we already mentioned that we have the Herald right here in the middle, right? We already noticed that there's all these characters over here on the sides at the reality tree, kind of like armored up and everything, right? We're at like this armored version of the reality tree, trying to prepare ourselves to defend off the Herald. But something I thought was very interesting that I didn't notice at first is over here on the right side. If you look closely, everything's chrome, right? There's nothing that isn't really chrome. Like maybe this tree right here on the left isn't chrome, but like stuff that we haven't even seen chromed in game really, as far as I'm aware, is showing up chromed in this area. Like these little slurp mushrooms, I'm pretty sure that those did not have this much chrome on them at the time, whereas now they're entirely affected by the chrome, right? It just feels like it's grown over time, and it feels like this chrome effect or whatever in these tornadoes are really causing this chrome to spread so much during the live event. And also, I apologize if someone out there is, you know, taking a drinking game and taking a shot every time I say chrome in this video, because I've said it a lot, but it is just a really important thing for this live event, right? The whole entire gimmick with the chrome spreading is something that I really think is going to be a massive factor to what happens during everything that goes on here, and I think it's something that you really want to keep your eye out on whenever the live event goes down, because we really don't know what we're going to be doing during the live event. We just really know what's been happening, and we really see these hype up things that really make us intrigued for everything else. But the last few screenshots we have here aren't really as revealing. We are able to see some, you know, landscape stuff blurred in the background of the island or whatever, and that's not really as important. But what I think is very important out of these screenshots is the fact that we can really get a good glimpse on how armored up, you know, the reality tree is going to get, right? It's like if you go to the reality tree right now in game, that reality tree I think is like, no, it's not covered in chrome. I think around the reality tree, there's like a lot of chrome and whatever, but the reality tree itself I do think's fine. line, and we can see the whole entire island, right? All of our characters defending the reality tree, right? We're all armored up at that tree, and we're protecting it, which makes me think, is this tree something that's important? Because originally, we thought the tree might have been related to the Herald or something, right? Because in a season or two ago, we had a whole entire teaser where, the Herald was looking at the island and looking at the reality tree, whereas now it appears that the reality tree might be a good thing, and maybe it's something that was created by the 0 point, because it just really wouldn't make sense for us to use this as a line of defense, especially if it's something a part of the Herald, right? Because, if it was the Herald's doing or something, that might not be the best thing to try standing on, because, well, the Herald would have control over it, they would know more about it than us, and who knows, with how long the Herald's been watching the island, maybe they do know more about it than us. But it is something that I saw and I thought was very interesting to speculate about. And then this final screenshot here is just the full word fracture. But what I think is super important here is the character having the cinematic shot on their face where they're looking up. Now, what are they looking up at? They're looking up at the Herald, because if you recall to this screenshot, the Herald's right there, and where the character is positioned is perfectly enough where if they were looking up, and even if they kind of like move to the side or something, they would be directly looking at the Herald. So I think there's going to be a big point during this event, and maybe during this cinematic, because I really think this is going to be a cinematic in-game that we will be seeing live, where we have this super crazy shot of the Herald coming closer to the reality tree, us kind of like realizing, hey, is all hope lost? Have we lost the island? What's going on here? And I think that this is going to be the real big breaking point for the live event, where everything goes down, and I think this is going to be the shocker point, right? I think this right here might be the point where everyone's like, wow, something's going down here, right? And with the chrome going fully around the island, I'm wondering, is the whole entire island going to get covered in chrome? Like, what is happening here? Are we going to become like these chrome structures, our chrome version of ourselves, just stuck in space floating around or something? I really don't know. But for today's question and comment of the day, I want to know from you guys, what do you think? Based on all the teasers and everything, based on the video right here that we showcased and then looked at some frames of, what is your theory of what's happening during the live event? And are you excited? Because honestly, I am. Hope you enjoyed this little breakdown video. Of course, I've been doing a lot of different stuff on this channel, but I've been enjoying it. And with that said, I'll see you champs and champettes tomorrow with another YouTube video. Peace out.